Assalamu alaikum everyone. Good morning. I want to welcome you today. This is lesson 8.3, graphing quadratic functions. Go ahead and check on the folders on Edmodo. You will find all the resources you need for this lesson. These resources are for your use, just to have a better understanding. You can have them or see them before or during the class discussion time, which is from 10 to 12. And for more questions, you can have private messages or you have a discussion on Edmodo from 2 to 3. This video, because of the short time that we have and a time limit, is going to be super fast. Go ahead and feel free to pause that video at any minute that you need to focus again. Start with downloading the VL reflection sheet. This reflection sheet will give you a better understanding for the lesson and a connection for the next lesson, inshallah. Learning intentions. You will have to graph quadratic functions in the form y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, which is the standard form. Name it is to write the quadratic function, and to name its components a, b, c. Explain it is to find the axis of symmetry, vertex, and the intercepts of any function, quadratic function. The connect it is to graph the quadratic function itself. To teach it, inshallah, we're going to solve real-life applications related to the topic. A y-intercept is the y-coordinate of the point where a graph intersects the y-axis. Keep this in mind, and the x-coordinate should be always 0. I'm going to be super fast, as I said before. You have this presentation on the resources. You can go ahead and check on it. So as you can see here, we have 3 graphs. The intercepts here is -2, the intercepts here is 4, and the intercept here is -3. I want you to notice something. What that represents in the equation? It will be C, as you can see. Start with example 1. We have a function 3x squared minus 6x plus 1. Inshallah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to define the a and b and c for this function. So a is 3, b is -6, and c is 1. And as you can see here are all the steps that we need to do, step 1 and step 2. Step 1 is to find the axis of symmetry. Remember, the axis of symmetry is -b over 2a. And that's why it's so important to define the correct coefficients at the beginning in a right way. So here we have a is 3 and b is -6. So when you have a negative with a negative, it will be positive, and this will be 6 over 6, which is 1. So the equation is x equals to 1. Find the vertex. Take the answer you got in here, substitute it in the equation, and then you will find the y. That y represents the point, and that's the y-coordinate of the vertex. So the vertex is 1, which is the one we got in the first step, and -2, which is the answer that we had in step 2. I want to remind you here that finding the y-intercept means you need to find the c. Identify the c, which will be 1, and here that the y-intercept is the graph or the point 0, 1. As you remember, y-intercept is x equals to 0. Go ahead and let's move to step 4. Find 2 more points. Just to have a better measure and to have a good graph, you just need 2. You can do more, you can have more, it's fine, but just to save time and be smart, not to work hard, work smart, find only 2 points. Pick 2 values of x, any 2 values. Here we are having -1 and -2. After substituting the -1 in the original equation, in the question, you will find y equals to 10, so the first point is -1 and 10. After substituting -2, as you can see, this is an example. You can use any 2 different values of x you want. Then the answer will be 25. And here we go. Here's the second point. Now, what do I have? I have the y-intercept, and I have 2 points, and I have the axis of symmetry. So what do we need to do now is to plot them on the coordinate plane. Once you put these points, there will be only one option for the parabola to go. And here will be the graph. As simple as that. go ahead and pause the video, check your notes again, go through the steps, then solve the check it out. On your notebooks, good students take notes. Let's go to example 2. Example 2 are applications. And remember, quadratic functions are functions of life. So you will have a lot of applications. For this one is the height in feet of a basketball that is thrown can be modeled by f of x equals negative 16x squared plus 32x. X the time in seconds, and that's the height, as we said. F of x gives you the height. Now the question, find the basketball maximum height and the time it takes the basketball to reach this height. So you want to find, in another term, vertex. Let's understand the problem, and this is the step 1. And as you can see, we want to find the maximum. We want to find time to reach the maximum, and then the time to reach the ground. And here's the only information that we have. What's the plan? If you find the vertex of the graph, this will be the maximum height and the maximum time. The maximum height will be represented by the y. The maximum time will be represented by the x. Please write that down on your notebooks. And for the basketball to reach the ground, that means that the height is 0. And again, remember, height in here is the y. So we find the y, or we find the intercept, which is the x-intercept. Let's start. Same steps as we used in example 1. Find the axis of symmetry. You use negative b over 2a. Write it down on the top of your notebook. We will use it a lot, so don't forget it. If you defined a and b correctly, you will have x equals to 1, and that's the symmetry. Find the vertex, use that 1 and substitute it in the function, and then you will get the answer, which will be 16. So the y-coordinate is 16. So the point, which is the vertex, is 1, 16. Remember, a vertex should be x and y, a point. Let's find the y-intercept. If you identify the c, as you can see, we can't see a number, so c will be 0, and that will be the origin. Now, once we graph it, as you can see, I want to look at this graph. We started with 0, 0. We have the axis of symmetry at 1, and we have the highest point, 1, 16. That 1 represents the time. Well done. This is x, so it's the time. So this is after 1 second, the ball will reach to the 16 feet above the ground, and that's the maximum height. Then it will go back to ground again, and that's after 1 second from the maximum height. So the whole thing will be after 2 seconds the ball will get to ground, and that's a reasonable answer. As you can see, here is the explanation. Now we need to check. Let's check 1 and 16. Will 1 give me a 16 in the equation? Yes, correct. And then let's check 2. Will 2 give me a 0 in the equation? Yes, correct. So everyone, that's the end of our lesson, inshallah. You can go through your steps again, check your notes, and self-check it out. You will have a lesson quiz worksheet at the end, and you will find it in the resources. This is for your self-understanding and your self-check for your understanding, inshallah. See you in the next lesson, 8.4. Have a good day.